write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak, and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Habakkuk 2, verses 2 to 3. Mr. Wallace Groves, an American-born financier, began doing business in the Bahamas as a lumber mill operator. In 1946, he bought the Abaco Lumber Company and rights to harvest pine on Grand Bahama Island. He had a contract to supply pit props to the mines of Britain, and so for years he exported these Bahamian logs to the UK. While his lumbering business was going on, he conceived a visionary plan of great magnitude for Grand Bahama. This was made known to Bahamians when in 1955 an agreement was signed between the Bahamas government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. It was called the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. This vision was to build a city on deforested land. Not only was the land now bare, but the population was also very small. There were small communities of local inhabitants living on the coastline from East End to West End, raising cattle and chickens, along with subsistence farming, producing mostly corn, potatoes, and peas. There was also an abundance of fish. Fishing, including diving for lobsters and turtle, were all a part of the mainstay for original Grand Bahamians. Apart from that, there was no kind of infrastructure to facilitate the development of a city.
When I arrived here, they had created a deep water harbor. They had brought in investors. One of the investors was Daniel Ludwig, who actually created the harbor and ended up owning Princess Properties and built the King's Inn Hotel, as it was then known. When I arrived, they were just starting to build the Lucayan Beach Hotel. And I remember when I arrived, we used to have to drive down muddied, dusty roads all the way from the center of Freeport here to reach the beach or to reach the Lucayan Beach Hotel. There were many challenges. Challenges were, one, the infrastructure was only in the process of being created. Roads were very bad, roads were very poor. Utilities were existent, but not always on, power not always on, water not always on, telephone not always on. We had a small airport. I believe that the original airport was actually the Hawksbill Creek in 1955 when Mr. Groves first arrived here. Opportunities were great. Anybody willing to stand the lack of infrastructure and facilities, anybody who had perhaps a pioneering spirit was welcomed and brought into Freeport, and I'm sure made plenty of money.
Freeport has become the Bahamas' second largest city. It is the modern-day Canaan, or as one travel writer states, the Hong Kong of the Americas, with infrastructure including over 400 miles of excellent wide paved roads, miles of well-engineered waterways, a freshwater table considered capable of supporting 250,000 people, modern cable and internet services, efficient power services, superior city planning, which makes the city exceptionally clean and ripe for another economic boom.
I thank God for Freeport. Freeport is a blessed place, as far as I'm concerned. Freeport is the second city in I would say, in the Caribbean, because it's a city that is properly laid out. It's not like Nassau. Nassau grew to be a city, but Freeport was laid out to be a city. In building a city, you need an airport, you need jail, you need fire engine, you need supermarket, you need, oh man, you need a lot of things to build a city. And Mr. Grove took all that on him. I don't know if him one, it seemed to be him alone and a couple of men along with him. But as he did it, God bless him and went along with him. Opportunity that comes today is plentiful if you would look when you want to do something in the city, if you want to stay at Freeport, look around and see what is shortage, and you do what is shortage.
Freeport is an investor's paradise. Both international and local investors need only come with a business plan. The Grand Bahama Port Authority and DevCo have investor-friendly staff that will help your business materialize.
It's time for us to, as Bahamians, to come to the realization that the Hawksbill Creek Agreement has benefits and concessions that we as Bahamians can also benefit from. It is not just for big business, it's also for small and medium-sized enterprises. I believe that we still have a competitive advantage. You know, when I think of some of the promotional efforts that we have done over the past year, you know, I am really encouraged by the response that I'm seeing here. And the response that I'm getting from a number of investors from Africa, Asia, various parts of the United States, Brazil. And this is all a part of our efforts to really take our product, which is Freeport, to the global market. We realized some time back that we can no longer sit and wait for business to come to us. But we have to get out there and promote and market the opportunities that exist here in Freeport in order to attract new investments. Strategically promoting Grand Bahama in areas like alternative energy, logistics, value-added services, light manufacturing, assembly, all of those areas that we believe are centralized location provides strategic support to certain businesses. There is a renewed interest in conducting business from Freeport from various investors, and we have seen a number of new projects pass the advanced negotiation and discussion stages, and we have actually granted preliminary approvals on a number of different projects here in Freeport. And most of those projects, although industrial related, there is still a certain amount of development that will come as a result of those projects. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, the future for Grand Bahama is bright. It's bright for investors, and it's bright for local Grand Bahamians and Bahamians in general.
You're the God of this city. You're the King of these people. You're the